How's it going, guys? It's Rider Knight, and today we are playing as the United States in my Cold War scenario. And we're going to be helping out our Korean allies in the Korean War, and we're going to be helping out Vietnam in the Vietnam War. The reason both wars in this scenario take place at the same time is just because I didn't want to make two separate scenarios for the Cold War, so I just threw it all together in one scenario. Plus, it's not that big of a deal in general, but for the scenario, we're going to be helping out both of our allies, and let's hope that things go well. So over here in Vietnam, you might realize that they are currently at war. South Vietnam, I believe, has the upper hand at the moment, so they should be able to actually defeat North Vietnam. As for Korea, South Korea is a little bit stronger than North Korea, so again, the same dynamic. I think the South should be able to actually solo Korea by themselves, but we're going to help out both of our allies over here. Apparently, I didn't give us control of Guam, or did I? I'm not sure. Or are they just our vassal? They're just our vassal, apparently. Our Korean ally looks like they got things under control, so I'm probably going to help out Vietnam to defeat North Vietnam over here in Siam. So that is our plan. We're going to declare war on Vietnam, and we don't need our allies to help us. So after that, we can send the troops right here to their capital. We can also send them to these coastal provinces, and maybe we'll be able to actually pick up a few provinces over here, which would be nice. So let us invade Vietnam from the coastline, and then we can send the troops to the north to finish off Vietnam in their final few provinces, and then we can get a peace treaty with them. So send these troops back to the south and send these over here. And I believe Vietnam is about to be defeated, so give it one more turn, and I think this is their final turn of being a country. So we've defeated Vietnam, and now we can do a peace negotiation and completely annex sections of northern Vietnam. And then our allies should also fully annex this land. And Vietnam has been defeated, meaning that we officially have landed in Asia, which is kind of cool. We can also form an alliance with Vietnam as well as South Korea once we get our relations up. So we now have an alliance with Vietnam. And I think we're going to go after Laos as our next target. I'll simulate the rest of the Korean War for you guys to watch. It's not going to be that interesting. I think South Korea is going to win. Just give it a couple turns and boom. South Korea has won, and they should fully annex North Korea, I believe. And they didn't fully annex it, but they did annex quite a bit. So South Korea won that conflict fairly easily, and they should be able to eventually annex all of North Korea, I believe. I'm going to get our Vietnam ally to help us out in a war against Laos. Should be a pretty short war, so we're just going to declare it and march the troops right across the border into Laos. And I think if Vietnam helps us out enough, we should be able to end this conflict fairly easily and quickly. So send the troops right across into Laos's great jungles and let us take it over. I think this is the final turn of Laos. Actually, maybe not. They countered us in the north, so we're going to have to send these troops to split them up. And we're going to have to build a couple extra right here to hold the front lines just in case. So that was kind of annoying, but other than that, we should be able to stop Laos right here. And I think this is the final turn of Laos. So after this, they should be defeated, hopefully. And not yet, but they're getting close to being defeated. We'll help Vietnam retake that. Actually, we didn't have to help them. Apparently, they did it by themselves. So Laos has been defeated, and now we can do a peace treaty with them. And I can take all this, and my Vietnam ally can take all that over, which officially gives us a lot more land over here in Asia. We'll call this American Vietnam. So it's kind of interesting looking at the borders. It's kind of, I don't know, unique for these type of borders over here. So kind of cool. We're going to give Vietnam some money to invade Cambodia. And we're just going to kind of watch them do that while we save up some money. So let's watch a small little simulation of Vietnam versus Cambodia. Mainly it's to toughen up Vietnam so they can be a strong ally for us. So after Vietnam win... Ooh, maybe they won't win. We never know. Vietnam is struggling, so we might actually have to help them out. I'm not sure. But it looks like Vietnam is recovering now, and hopefully they can retake their capital. But it does look like Vietnam... Okay, they have taken their capital back. And they've taken the enemy's capital, so... I think Vietnam has won. So that's the end of that war. It did look pretty tough for Vietnam, though, for a little bit. They were struggling. So now Vietnam can unite their country and hopefully annex all that land, and they did. So Vietnam is now a very powerful ally for our country. They are roughly the same strength as about half of Indonesia, so they're still pretty powerful though regardless. I'm trying to think of a good country to, base them off of. They're about the same strength as... not Italy. They're about the same strength roughly as somebody like Sweden or Poland, roughly. So we just won some small proxy wars in Korea and Vietnam, and now it's time to start a brand new proxy war since this is the Cold War. And our next proxy war is going to be in Cuba, where we'll just probably invade it. Yeah, we might turn the whole world into a nuclear apocalypse. I mean, the world might collapse into a nuclear apocalypse since we're invading, Russia's greatest ally, Cuba, but it happens. So let's prepare the army to take over Cuba. I think we're already ready. We have a ton of troops trained up, and we can always just build more if this isn't enough, but I think it's plenty, and now we can declare the war on Cuba, send a majority of the troops right into their capital. We can send a couple of them down here to take over the small island, and actually let's just send them all right into the capital. So let's do that, and then we can send this to take over the small island. Then as for this, we can split up about half of that way, and majority of it goes this way. And then this 15,000 stack should be able to fully take over Cuba by itself. So let's watch as the final Cuban provinces collapse, and we can make Cuba a free country. And, I don't know, we can call it our 51st state. So, Cuba, welcome to the United States. You are officially our 51st state. Would Cuba be one of our largest states? It'd definitely be pretty big. I'm not sure what Cuba's ranking would be if it was a U.S. state, but it'd probably be pretty high up there. Our great leader of the United States has decided to declare war on the Bahamas because, you know what, he really does want some good vacation spots and might as well get us a second Hawaii, because why not? So we're going to go to war with the Bahamas because I'm kind of bored. And let's start the great invasion of the Bahamas. This will be pretty much our 52nd state at this point, so let us take over their capital, and we'll send the rest of the troops over here to take over their second province, which is most likely undefended with only 200 troops in it, which is pretty weak. We can take that over, and the Bahamas can join the United States as our 52nd state because we just added Cuba. So now we're at 52 states. Pretty good, pretty good. Apparently the drug lords really do love our country right now, so that's good info to know. Well, I think it's about time that we manifest our destiny for the second time. We're going after Mexico, so let's send the troops right down from the north into the south. And let's hope that this invasion goes well. I think it will. Actually, maybe it didn't go as well as I thought it would. Mexico was obviously a lot more prepared than we were, and they did get some pretty good attacks off. So we're gonna have to build extra troops to slow down Mexico's assault on our country, and it's gonna be expensive, but we are pretty rich right now. Our economy is massive. We're making tons of money, so we can really, build as many troops as we want, and it won't affect a single thing. So let us prepare our great second invasion, and we're going to build a couple more over there in the next couple of turns. So that is the plan. Alright, so let's see how this turn plays out. It should be pretty good. We're going to take over a lot of provinces and hopefully retake a lot of our land as well. And I think Mexico is about done for. They just lost on pretty much every front. So they're already sitting at 12%. They're pretty much already done for. So give it a couple more turns, and I think we can probably peace out with Mexico and get a lot of land out of it. So that's probably going to be my plan. Let's take over these final major provinces that stand in our way, and after that, Mexico should just surrender, is my guess. So let's take over the rest of Baja, California, and let's split this troop up into a lot of different divisions, and hopefully, I don't know, try to make a small little dent in the Mexican military. So let's see if that does anything. I think this is probably the final turn Mexico has to do anything, or they're just going to surrender. So now that we're sitting at about 20 score, I think we're just going to demand that we get all of Baja, as well as, I don't know, we'll build a, say, 54th state as well. We'll take over all that. We demand that you give us all this, or we'll destroy your country. And they have accepted. So we've defeated Mexico and managed to get a couple more states to join the United States. Manifest Destiny is complete for the second time, and we're looking pretty good. This is actually kind of an interesting looking border. I wish we could have got this last little province right here, but it's not really that big of a deal. So kind of interesting looking border though. Regardless, I kind of like it. And for the final little part of this video, we're just going to watch as South Korea finishes off North Korea and hopefully fully unites their country. Apparently they're struggling though, so might be a little bit, but I think South Korea will win this conflict. And give it a couple turns and boom. I think South Korea will fully unify their country, and that officially marks the end of North Korea. Korea is officially reunited. Hopefully you enjoyed watching me kind of, play as the United States in the Cold War scenario. If you guys want to download the scenario, links in the description, and I'll see you all for the next one. Peace.